Broderick Jones is regressing. Now, the first thing, a ton of people that are saying, come on, Big B, you don't know what you're talking about. He's obviously hurt. I'm not giving him the hurt excuse. I'm not saying that he's faking. I believe that he is hurt. What I am saying is, since when do guys fight through injuries in the preseason? Since when does your starting anything fight through an injury that's causing him not to play well? When do they do that in the preseason? I'm just curious. We've seen guys sit out with a hangnail in the preseason. Why can't we just say two things can be true? Broderick Jones is hurt. Broderick Jones is playing like garbage. I've seen people come up with the conspiracy theories. Oh, well, it's his right arm and he needs to be on the left side because, you got to push guys out with his right arm and he can't do that. And I'm like, either arm is an issue. No matter what side you play on, it's an issue. How about when he goes to punch, his punch is too high, his punch is too wide, he's giving up his chest, his stance is too high. How about we just talk about the things that we can see and that we know? If his arm is hurt, and again, I'm not saying that it isn't, why isn't he resting? That's all I want to know. Why isn't he resting? Oh, by the way, also, he looked very, very good in the joint practice against the Bills. He looked amazing in the joint practice sessions against the Bills. Absolutely amazing. I'm not going to give the injury excuse. And again, that has nothing to do with me not believing that he's hurt because, people just don't put on braces on their arms or elbows or knees for the hell of it. People don't do that. Why the hell do the Pittsburgh Steelers have him out there at whatever percent if it's not 100%? What, Broderick Jones needs the work? Well, how many games did he start last year at right tackle? But we're going to throw him out there anyway? For what? Doesn't make sense to me. There's plenty of guys that have sat out. But to try to say, well, he's a football player, he's just trying to fight through an injury. Who fights through an injury in the preseason? If it's a guy, unless it's a guy trying to make the football team. Don't know if he's hurt, but he's not a natural right tackle. It's the fourth or fifth years where the Steelers move a player to another position on the line. Thank you. He's not a right tackle. He's a left tackle. He played left tackle his entire All-American career at Georgia. We drafted him to be the left tackle. He was told he's going to be the left tackle in February. They told the media he was going to be the left tackle in February. And here we are, him playing right tackle. I know what everybody's going to say. Well, Dan Moore can't play right tackle. And Troy Fautanu is hurt. Well, Broderick Jones was playing right tackle before any of that happened. And Dan Moore Jr., if you want an opportunity to play on this football team, you have to play and figure out right tackle. We have our left tackle for the next decade. I'm sorry. We thank you for your services, but we've got our guy. That's not you. Steeler fans, don't hate me, but you know it's the truth. Dan Moore Jr. has played better than Broderick Jones at left tackles, so that we've seen in the preseason. He's been better. For instance, the line had a problem on Saturday against the Bills, but Dan Moore Jr. wasn't part of that problem. You didn't hear anything. Even if you get the all-22, you do all that, he was fine. It's okay to say that Broderick Jones is regressing. It's okay to say it. It doesn't mean that you're bad-mouthing him, even though you can. It doesn't mean that you hate the Steelers. It doesn't mean that you don't know ball. Oh, you don't know ball. It doesn't mean any of that nonsense. I think we're a more intelligent group when we get in here, a more mature group. All it means is Broderick Jones is not playing well, man. If his arm is that hurt, and again, we're not saying that it isn't. Why the hell is he out there? Highsmith isn't out there. Dante Jackson isn't out there. Those guys are nicked up. And all the reports that we've heard is, if it was a game, those guys would be playing. Oh, if it was a game, those guys would be playing. But Broderick Jones has to be out there? Oh, my goodness. It's just insane. I want you to answer in the comments. And be honest. Can Broderick Jones beat Dan Moore Jr. out? Do we have to worry about that right now? Is that what we should be worried about? And is that why Pittsburgh is so reluctant to just put this guy at left tackle? because maybe the stuff that they've seen, he's not better. If that's really the truth, if that's the case, that is a problem. The saving grace in all of this, it's still just the preseason. My man Mike says he's punching with both arms. Footwork is off too. I mean, you're supposed to punch with both arms. I don't think that's the issue. I think the hand placement is the issue. And his stance. He's way too high. And that's why guys are driving him back. They're getting into his chest and they're driving him straight back because he's standing straight up. Footwork is bad too. You're 100% right. But I don't care how good your punch is. You can have a punch of Larry Allen. If you're going to stand straight up, a guy's going to get to your chest because you don't have leverage, and they're going to drive you back. This is the National Football League, man. My man James, that was the worst part when he got straight run over. Yeah, that when he got tossed around like a rag doll, I was just literally just tossed aside. I'm like, oh my God, this is despicable. Like, what are we doing? My man, Paranormal in the Fun House. Why did we re-sign Sutton? By the way, if he is out half the year, I don't feel good about it. I want to hold it. Well, first of all, we signed him because he's better than the other slot corners that we have. That's number one. Number two, didn't cost us very much money. That's number two. And number three, I mean, we knew he was going to be out, so it's not like the Steelers didn't know he wasn't going to be out, and he doesn't count towards the 53-man roster. Like, he doesn't count towards the roster while he's suspended, so why not bring him back for the cheap?